Continuing on in our prospect pool overviews today, we have the Vancouver Canucks today. So the Canucks prospect pool is a team that has been pretty good for a little bit here, mediocre slash good. Their prospect pool is not that great. A lot of their guys have graduated from the prospect pool and have now played actual NHL games. That includes guys like Lecker Mackey and Elias Pettersson. They're no longer, the defensemen are no longer on this list. So besides that, it's pretty sparse. But let's hop in here, starting off with the most recent draft pick by the Canucks, and that's Braden Coots. He was born in Sherwood Park, Alberta. He is 6 foot, 185 pounds, was drafted 15th overall in 2025. He is most known as a center. He played 60 games with the Seattle Thunderbirds, scored 26 goals, 37 assists for 63 points with Seattle. He has very smart and deceptive skill. He is one of those players in this draft that I was a little bit higher on. And I look at him and Carter Bear in kind of the same light. I do think Carter Bear is a little bit better, but Coots in a way is exciting because he has that dynamic skill. He's good moving the puck. He also has that IQ. Again, I've talked about with a lot of prospects here throughout these videos in how you can have the skating, you can have the talent, you can have the shooting, but if you don't have the IQ and know the game, sometimes you aren't able to make it compared to some of the other players around the league. So Braden Coots, I look at him a lot in that way as one of my favorite players and favorite prospects in this prospect pool for Vancouver. So if you're the Canucks and you're a Canucks fan, you should be looking forward to this guy 100%. Now, Tom Willander, I think, is Vancouver's best prospect, and it might not even be close either. He was born in Stockholm, Sweden. He's 6 foot 1, 190 pounds, drafted 11th overall in 2023. He is a right shot defenseman. Those are hard to come by, and I think that brings a lot more value to Willander in his game. Played 39 games with Boston University, had 2 goals, 22 assists for 24 points. He's got great skating and really good puck movement. He is not going to be in Boston University next year, though, because he signed his ELC with the Vancouver Canucks. So that either means he can go over and play with the big club, or he can go over and play in the American Hockey League. So I've seen people say they want him to go play some pro hockey in the AHL, but I'm not so sure. This guy showed really good defensive capabilities with Boston University in both seasons he was there. So I think there's a lot of optimism there with this player, and there's a lot of upside there as well. He could become a very solid, lockdown defenseman, but could also be a very good two-way guy as well. So Tom Willander is one of the guys who I'm very high on, not just in this prospect pool, but throughout the entire league in terms of defenseman prospects. I am looking forward to seeing this player in the NHL in the future. It's just a matter of when. It could be next year. It could be the following year. We don't really know what the Canucks' plan is with development. They've been a little bit hard with sometimes developing players, but I think Willander is a guy who has plenty of upside and could be very exciting down the road. Next up, then, we have another guy who was drafted in this last class. Wilson Bjork is a center. He was born in Stockholm, Sweden. He can also play left wing as well. That's also notable there, too. He is 6 foot, 165 pounds, was drafted 143rd overall in this past draft. He played 43 games played with the Djurgårdens JF20. He had 28 goals, 39 assists for 67 points. Those are some really good numbers. He's a very quick and versatile forward there as well. I think what really drags people away from him is because he's hard to stay disciplined. Had 98 penalty minutes last year. He can be a little bit of a physical type of player, so that's also something you want to factor in there too. He's also fast moving. He scored 30 goals in Djurgårdens last year with the junior team. He did play 10 games with the main team in the SHL. Had 0 points through those 10 games played. Did have a +2 though. So there's something there you want to factor in. But I think for a guy like him, he is a ways away from fully being ready, but those numbers that he had in the SHL are very promising in my opinion. I think that it's going to take some time, it's going to take some development, but Wilson Bjork could be a player you could watch out for here in a couple of years in the Canucks prospect system. Kieran Dervin is one of the guys who was most recently drafted this year, was drafted 65th overall in 2025. He's from Gloucester, Ontario, 6 foot 1, 183 pounds. He played 10 games with Kingston this past year, had 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. He has an NHL-ready frame, and he's dedicated with his two-way style. Now, you wonder where he was playing prior. He was playing in, I believe, college or high school. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, he's got that NHL-ready type of size where he's 6'1", 183 pounds. He's got a great two-way style to his game, but overall, this guy seems very raw. From what I can tell, he's got a ways away from fully developing and getting ready for the NHL. So that's what I look at there when I see Dervin. I do believe he is still a little bit away, as a lot of these prospects who were most recently drafted are, but this guy may be more away than others. I think maybe 2 more years in the OHL minimum, and then some AHL time there as well. But he showed in the playoffs and in his short stint there with Kingston that he can prove himself. He can score and play solid offensively, so there are some key takeaways there to take a look at that. But overall, Dervin could be an exciting prospect down the road. He's just not ready yet. Now, next up then, we have Sawyer Mineo, who was born in Kamloops, BC, 6'1", 181 pounds. He's a left shot defenseman. This is a guy who's also a little bit more underrated as well. He was drafted 89th overall in the 2023 draft. He played 49 games with the Thunderbirds / the Hitmen this past year. Had 14 goals, 31 assists, 45 points. He's a very smooth skater, and he does move the puck very well. You're not going to see a ton of offense out of a guy like Mineo, but he has that overall solid two-way type of upside there, and I do believe that he will be going over to the American Hockey League next season. He will not be staying in the WHL, so that's something you want to keep in mind there as well. He will not be there next season, but overall, this is a guy who was drafted in the 3rd round, has put together a pretty solid resume, winning a championship in the WHL, playing some AHL games, playing in the World Juniors for Canada. I think overall this guy has had some pretty solid stretches of hockey, and I think overall that Mineo will become one of the more touted prospects in Vancouver's system now that guys like Lecker-Mackey and Pettersson have graduated and are no longer with the roster. So very exciting there for sure. These are some players you can be very excited for in the future. Now, with Artur Shilov's gone, the Canucks drafted a new goaltender here in Alexei Medvedev. I never get names right this late at night. He was born in St. Petersburg, Russia. I can never get him right ever. He's 6'3", 181 pounds, drafted 47th overall in this past year's draft. Had a 22-8-2 record with a 2.79 goals against average and a .912 with the London Knights. That's some pretty good numbers. Now, they opted, London, he was drafted, they opted for him to go play Junior B last year, which made him a more ready goaltender. And as a result, he came in this year and was the full-time starter for the London Knights. So that's something you can look out for there too. I think this player is going to be very exciting down the road. This is going to be a draft that we look on in the future and say, wow, there were a lot of goalies in this draft, because you have Ravensburgen, you have Medvedev, you have Andrianov as well. So there's plenty of other goaltenders, like Ivan Kovic was there too. There's a lot of other goalies in this draft that are going to be very exciting, and alongside him as well. Like, I'm excited to see this kid, and he's the guy who isn't really even being talked about. Like, everybody's talking about Ravensburgen and Andrianov and even Ivan Kovic, but nobody's talking about Medvedev. So I think there's a lot of excitement here with this kid, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the NHL down the road, but it's going to be a little bit. Again, with goaltenders, you don't want to rush them. You don't want to rush their development. So with this guy, I'm not expecting for him to make the NHL anytime soon. Probably plays another 2 seasons with London, then comes over to Abbotsford. But overall, he was a very positive pickup in an otherwise weaker draft for Vancouver outside of Braden Coots. So looking at some of the other prospects here in the Canucks prospect pool, you have Ty Mueller, who just made his NHL debut this past year after his first season with Abbotsford, coming from the University of Omaha, had 39 points in 64 games played. You have Kirill Kudryavtsev, who is somebody who's also looking pretty good in Vancouver's pool. His first year in the pros this year, 26 points in 65 games played. Also played 2 games with Vancouver. Gabriel Sherratt, one of the more recent draft picks. He split time with Mississauga and Brampton this year. Had 45 points in that split time with those two teams. Anthony Romani as well had 35 points in 35 games played with the North Bay Battalion / Barrie Colts as well. Solid player in this draft as well. And then Ty Young, who spent time with Abbotsford and Kalamazoo, had a .926 with Kalamazoo, a .904 with Abbotsford. I imagine he will likely be the starting goaltender possibly for the Abbotsford team. Then last but not least, you look at the prospect rankings here for the Vancouver Canucks. You have Tom Willander there at number 1. He's clearly my favorite prospect. You have Braden Coots at number 2. You have Alex Medvedev at number 3. Manio at 4. Krudisteyev at number 5. Durbin at 6. Mueller at 7. And then so on and so forth for the rest of the pool rankings. Overall, I think 1 to 5 are going to be NHLers for sure. There's no doubt about that. After that, those are guys who could be fringe players. I think Mueller could be an NHLer as well. But overall, this pool is much weaker than it once was. But you still do have some solid players here in this system who are going to be exciting down the road. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the Vancouver Canucks prospect pool. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, like the video down below and subscribe if you are new. But regardless, that is it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.